sorry, Jungkook, I'm really sorry, she cried, hugging him, when the door suddenly opened and you walked in. And your steps halted and your eyes widened a little as goosebumps rushed to your body because someone walked behind you. It's Mr. Jeon. And Jungkook's body got cold looking at you both, while Mr. John looked at him with his dark eyes as he quickly detached himself from her. While Mr. John walked in furiously as you followed him, that it's not like as it's before he could complete, a hard slap landed on his face, making your eyes widen and his face turned aside. Shut up. He said that, glaring at him while he looked at you, and Sophia stood there sniffing. Fine, please try to understand. He again raised hands on him while you stopped as you stand in between and shook your head. Appa, please, you said, pleading voice, while Jungkook just looked at you as you looked at Sophia. Sophia, please go now, you said while she is not ready to leave. Sophia, please, in little loud tone, and she walked outside. As you looked at Jungkook's dad, who is fuming in anger as if he will eat Jungkook with his eyes. Don't come between us, daughter. It's son and father's talk, as he is ready to hit him, but you didn't let him. How he dared to cheat on you. That's what I taught you. He yelled at him and you flinched. He never cheated on me, Appa. You sat in between while Jungkook looked at you unbelievably as Mr. John looked at you shocked. I knew from the starting, and I'm sure you did too, that he loved someone else. Then how is wrong? Jungkook's tears slid down. I knew, and he's the one who promised Appa. If he did, how can he back off now? He said in loud voice. He sacrificed his happiness for Halabuji. It's not a choice. He was forced. Why don't you understand that thing? You said with a lot of pain in your voice. But daughter, you walked near him. But try to understand his pain too, please. Mr. John looked at you as his gaze softened as well as Jungkook's. Ryan, he said in broken words as you looked at him. Don't let this thing go to Appa. He surely can't afford. Jungkook, and your eyes locking with tears and pain in the eyes. Halabuchi won't get to know. Don't worry, you said, looking in his eyes as a tear slid down from your eyes, which you wiped immediately. Ryan, when he tried to copy your face, when you turned and looked at Jungkook's dad. Don't worry, Appa, you said with a smile as he looked at Jungkook. You will not leave her, I dare you, he said, warning him as he walked outside furiously. You also tried to walk, but your vision got blurry a little as you stumbled, holding your head. Ryan, he quickly held you as he looked at you in concern. I'm okay, you said in low voice while you were feeling like your head will burst out in pain. But then only you felt warmness in your nose, which got you, as you quickly got straight, covering your nose. I'm okay. Saying this, you walked as he tried to follow you, but you ran. You quickly closed the door, catching breath as you took support of the door, and your head is aching badly. And it is getting unbearable by each minute, and you grabbed tightly as you sat on your knees, holding your head, and tears dropped from your eyes. But then your eyes widened as you saw blood on your pants, and you touched your nose, and tears slid more, and your hands started shaking badly when you got up and went in washroom. You wash your hand, which is shaking badly, and tears dropping constantly because of the pain and fear. When you took out the medicine and water bottle as you gulped the medicine and looked at yourself in mirror with a shaky smile. Nothing will happen, you'll be fine. Take a breath. You mumble to yourself, and that's how you calm yourself. Jungkook didn't get a chance to talk to you because you were locking yourself in your cabin all the time, and he got snapped back from his thought when someone spoke. Sir, it's unlocked. This is your new car key, he said, and extending him the car keys as Jungkook nodded. Thanks, Mr. Nam, he said, and he nodded. Anything else I can help you with? He said, smiling, and Jungkook just smiled a little and shook his head. No, thanks for the help, Mr. Nam. Mr. Nam smiled. Anytime, sir, he just smiled. Okay, so then I'll take my leave. Jungkook nodded and he bowed and left. When Jungkook checked his car lock with keys, when he is checking the car, he found your bracelet in the space as he smiled looking at it. But when his eyes landed on a brown envelope, as he took out uninterestedly, as he looked at the watch and then entrance. Where she is? Why didn't she come yet? Should I check on her? He mumbled, unwrapping the envelope. You're really feeling better now because you took the medicine and you took some rest and told your secretary not to disturb you, and you didn't know when it got 7:30 p.m. Jungkook must be waiting for you. The only thought came in your mind, and you packed your things quickly, ready to leave because everyone does. There is no one except you, as you were not even sure that Jungkook must be waiting for you or not. And when you heard door locking sound as you turned around and spotted Jungkook who just locked the door and you frowned in confusion. Why are you locking the door? You said. When he turns and there is something in his eyes which sent shiver to your body as he is looking at you with dark orbs, and when he dangerously walked towards you. You were confused and scared until you saw the envelope in his hands which got you and you realized. Listen, but then only he pulled you. He looked at you with intensity and carrying a kind of anger and a lot of emotions which you can't understand, as his hands on your nape and he was too close to you that you can feel his breath against your skin. His eyes turn all red and looking something who is seriously scaring you. What do you think of yourself? He whispered, greeting that it was calmly but dangerous, that you can feel getting goosebumps. Maybe this is the very first time you have seen his this aura, which you also are scared of now that no was coming out of your throat and you gulped hard. Jungkook. He yelled all of a sudden, making you flinch as he pulled you more closer, making things more hard for you. The way he is holding you will surely leave handprints on your body. You flinched again when a tear slid down from his eyes, but still carrying the same anger on his face as he showed the papers to you while you looked at it, then him being scared. What is this? He said, showing the papers to you while you gulped before answering. Divorce papers. Who gave you this much right? Who the hell are you to decide? You can feel pain in his voice when he pulled your face closer to his, making you shut your eyes. Fine, look at me, he commanded as you slowly opened your eyes just to match his dark one. How could you do this? This is what you wanted from starting, and me too. You somehow said, gathering courage. You wanted divorce from me? He asked with a rage while you gulped hard. This is good for both of us, you said, gulping down the lump when he jerked you away as he chuckled mocking. Really? You know it's good for both of us, he asked, tightening his jaw as tears were in his eyes. And when you have grown up that much that you can make all these decisions, he asked while there is a maniac smile on his face. He yelled as he walked near you, making you walk backward. He yelled as he walked near you, making you walk backward. Don't you dare. Don't, he warned her, pointing index finger at her as tears started to build up in your eyes. Can you take this decision alone? He asked calmly yet dangerously. I was about to tell you. When he said in very low voice, and there is pain visible in his voice. After divorcing me, he asked, carrying so much hate. When he looked at the divorce paper and spotted your signature there, that you already signed it, breaking his heart more as he chuckled sadly. Yeah, right, because you already signed it, he said with so much pain. As a tear slid down finally. I did this for you, you said with broken voice, and he chuckled again as he looked at you with while smiling in pain. For me, he said, pointing himself. He pulled you closer again by your arms, holding it tightly because he forgot everything now, while you looked at him being scared. Did you ask me once what I wanted, huh? While you struggled in his grip as tears dropped from your eyes more. He freaked out again, making you flinch. He was scaring me, and he pulled you closer. And you turned my world upside down in one fell swoop. What about that? He asked, raising brows, and tears dropped more from his eyes. We were forced, you said, and he looked at you. You never wanted to live with me, not I wanted to. Jungkook leaves you as he grabbed his hair in frustration as he glared at you again. You want to divorce me, right? Well, you just look at him sniffing and he chuckled wryly. Of course, you want. That's why you signed it even before discussing with me, he mumbled to himself. And when he looked for something, getting mad while you looked at him choking your tears, and he took the pen when he finally got, and while you just stared him, feeling not in your heart. Jungkook hesitated a bit, and he looked at your signature and signed without hesitation. And the tears dropped on the paper as he signed the paper, and your heart is dropping. Because that's not how you expect it to be. Jungkook punched on the glass table, making the glass to break, and blood started to come from his knuckles. And your eyes widened as you covered your mouth. Jungkook, but he stopped as he walked near you. I hope you will be happy now, as he threw divorce papers on your face, while your eyes on his bleeding hands, which was bleeding heavily as you tried to hold it, but he didn't let you, and he pulled you closer by your nape. I hate you even more. I hate you, Ryan, he said with so much hate. Your teary eyes locked in heated ones, who is looking at you with so much hate as his gaze shifts to your, but he looks back at you. Get ready to explain yourself. There is no my involution in it. Understand? He whispered as he jerked you away. Don't tell this to anyone, you said all of a sudden. And he wiped the last tear aggressively as he walked out, leaving you all mess as you dropped on your knees and looked at the papers where he signed. As you touch it, there is his drops and some blood stains, which caused an ache in your heart, and you looked in the direction where he could disappear. You made me feel defeated. It was you. Then how I became the culprit, you mumbled. We are eventually not going to make it when destinies are already decided. You wiped your tears. You are not the same Jungkook who hated me, you mumbled. She walked in dining room and your eyes met his, but he looked away. And when you sit, he got up. And everyone looked at him surprised. What happened to you? He asked while he took his blazer. Nothing. I don't have appetite. Mr. John frowned while he looked down. But son, you didn't eat anything, she said, and her eyes widened as she noticed his hand. And what happened to your hand? She said as she tried to check, but he took it back. Nothing, Mom, it's just a small cut, coldly said, and she looked at him in amazement. How did you get hurt? He asked, and when he looked at you while you stared him, breathing heavily. Stupidity of some people, I got hurt, he said while glaring at you. And before his mother or anyone else could say anything, he walked from there, making you shut your eyes as you're about to get up, but his mother put hand on your hands. Now where are you going? Have your dinner, she commanded as you made feast, and she looked at you. Did you both have fight? She asked as you looked at her and then that, but smiled a little. No, you replied with heavy heart. Okay, then take his dinner in room and feed him by your hands. He definitely will eat. You looked down. Okay, Mom, you said in low voice. You entered in the room as you looked around. There is no one. And you put dinner on side table, and when you heard some noises from balcony as you walked slowly there. When you noticed Jungkook, and he was drinking straight from bottle. And you closed your eyes as you slowly walked to him. when he noticed you and shot a glare to you and looked away and continued drinking, and you corrected your thought before speaking. I bring dinner for you, you said coldly while he ignored you. Jungkook, have your dinner. But he still ignored you, making you lose your control. You snatched the bottle from his hand, and when he got up glaring at you, give that back to me, he said coldly. When you gulped hard glaring at him, I won't. You said stubbornly, shaking your head, fine, give that back to me, otherwise, he said warning you. When you smashed the bottle on the floor, making his expression to change in fraction to fierce one. When he dangerously walked near you and pulled you closer by your arm harshly while you didn't react, and you stared back at him with the same rage. Stop interfering in my life. You have already created a lot of mess. Stay away if you don't want to see my wrath, he said, gritting the teeth. What happened, huh? Why are you reacting like this? Like something bad happened? You asked, raising brows while he stared in your eyes. What's the reason? I want to know the reason, Jungkook. Give me a valid reason to justify this anger, you asked with a rage. Who are you? Who are you to ask me this? There is no relationship between us, he replied calmly yet dangerously while you stared him, breathing heavy. We are still husband and wife, you replied, and he chuckled sarcastically. We are not, and we never were, he replied darkly as he jerked you away. As he is about to walk, but you held his wrist, making him stop as he shut his eyes. Have your dinner. Leave my hand, and you looked at him. Treat your wound and have your dinner, you said, and he dead glared at you. Leave my hand, I won't repeat, he said calmly yet dangerously. Do first as I said, tightening the grip. He yelled, jerking your hand. You yelled back, grabbing his collar, and a tear slid down from your cheek. There is a heated eye contact between you both as you both are looking at each other, breathing heavily. You said in a loud voice, grabbing his collar. If you're angry on me, be it, I won't mind. But if you skip meals and hurt yourself like this, then I'll show you who Kim Wine is. Tears continuously slide down from your cheek while he just stared at you. My life has many obstacles. Don't add one more to it, you said with heavy throat. I just did that, he said with broken voice as a tear slid down from his eyes too. I did what you always said. What's wrong in it? But when he pulled you closer by your neck, you could have discussed it once before taking such a big step. Because there are some things that are impossible to express in words, he whispered against your lips. And now you know what? You are not my wife anymore, Miss Kim Wine, so don't be, he said, but you don't know what happened to you, that your hands reaches to his neck just a little closer, you pulled him, and your lips touched to his when you kissed him softly, leaving him shocked, and tears slid down from his eyes. When you pulled back and looked at him with teary eyes, hate me all you want, but take care of your health. Life happens for once and is precious, you said with happy thought. A life without a soul is not life, he mumbled unconsciously while you stared at him, gulping. You look away as you control your tears and about to walk but pulled back by him, holding your nape with one hand. You want this separation? Let's separate. And no one will interfere in anyone's business. Especially you, Combine. You won't interfere in my business. We don't exist for each other. He stopped. He pulled you closer by your nape and tilting his head, he kissed you, making you close your eyes as he poured all his mixed emotion in it and pulled away after a while. From now onwards, he blurred out and tears slid down from his hand. And when his hands reaches to your ring finger, and your heart dropped knowing what he's doing, as you held his hand looking in his eyes. Please don't, you said with shaky voice, and he didn't utter a word as you are holding his hand tightly, most likely to intervene. But he pulled up the hands as you looked at your ring and then him. He's staring at you, being hurt, as he slowly tried to remove your grip while you just stared him in his eyes. And after trying so hard, he slid out the ring from your ring finger, making you shut your eyes as your grip tightened on his shoulders. And when he loosened the grip, wiping his tears, he walked from there, while you cried silently, looking at his disappearing figure.